The chair brand SIHOO is a pretty popular chair brand on Amazon, and they clearly make some really great products. The chair that I reviewed last week, I really liked. However, this $200 chair from SIHOO was the first where I had to stop reviewing it early because my legs start to feel very uncomfortable. Now, to be clear, I'm not a doctor, and I don't think I was in any kind of serious danger, but I did feel uncomfortable enough that I was like, okay, I need to stop sitting in this chair. Does that make this a bad chair? No, I don't think so. I just think that you need to have the right body type for this chair, and I'll talk about what that is and why I think what happened to my legs as I break down this chair. Let's get honest. Starting with the sizing, SIHOO claims that this chair can support 300 pounds, but I'm gonna say buyer beware because this seat pad is not nearly as thick or as dense as the previous SIHOO chair. And me being 176 pounds, when I sat in this, I felt like I could feel the bottom. And something you need to know about all cushion chairs is that after a while, it will lose some of its cushiness, which is why having a thick or a really dense seat pad really helps. Now on this, I feel like if you're on the heavier end, you could wear it out pretty quickly and feel the bottom on your bottom. And it would hurt after a bit. SIHOO doesn't specify a height recommendation, but I'm gonna say that it's for people between 5'6" and 5'10", and it's a very short range because of the way the headrest is designed, and I'll get to that in the headrest section. But here's something everybody needs to know. This chair is for people with freakishly long legs. I'm 5'6" and I have pretty short legs, and this chair is not for me. That's why I think what happened, and I'll explain that more when we get to the seat. Right now, some of you guys are stuck in the black hole loop of my chair review, so if that's you and you haven't already, please get subscribed, hit that notification bell, leave a comment down below or any questions. This is my favorite part. Engaging with you guys is my favorite part of this whole process. Like this video for the algorithm's sake. I'm trying to hit 50,000 subs by the end of the year, so your help is really, really appreciated. Thank you. The legs on this chair are flat and wide enough that you can rest your feet on it comfortably if that's something that you like to do. I know I like to do this, and this feels perfectly fine. The casters are designed for carpet only. If you put them on hardwood, you're gonna be wiggling and jiggling quite a bit, and you're not gonna feel as sturdy. The controls under the chair are really basic. You get a giant knob underneath, which you can turn to tighten or loosen the back tension. Now, quick note, it took me about 50 turns, and I'm not exaggerating, about 50 turns to get this from fully loose to where it is now. And that is a lot of turns, and it's in a very uncomfortable position, but this is what I find to be the case on a lot of budget chairs. The other thing is that you've got a paddle on the right side, and if you lift that paddle up, it'll increase the height or lower it. And then if you pull that paddle out, it'll unlock the back tilt, and if you push it in, it'll lock the back tilt. Now this chair allows you to go back at 3 degrees, so you can lock at the very top, and then you can unlock it and go about halfway and lock it there. And then you can unlock it and lean it all the way back and lock it in its full tilt back position. And the headrest on this chair is pretty okay, so we'll talk about that more when we get to this. But just wanted to mention that this setup here is pretty nice. All right, so let's talk about this chair. When I sat back in this chair, my feet barely touched the ground. And I was like, oh, this is a pretty big chair then. But then I scooched under my desk, and then I was like, wait a minute, this is confusing because there was so much room between my thigh and the bottom of my desk that I was like, wait, this chair is really low to the ground, because most chairs where I'm sitting 90 degrees, my knees or my thighs are at least a little like 2-3 inches higher. So I was so confused as to what was happening, and I realized what was going on was that the seat depth on this chair is very deep. As a matter of fact, measurement-wise, it's the deepest chair that I've ever sat in. And also, some chairs have had deep seats, but their lumbar support comes out in such a way that you can never actually scooch back that far. With this chair, the seat back is so far back that you can actually sit all the way back. And I think that was what was causing my legs to go numb, tingly, and cold. It's because when I sit in this chair, the seat pad is making contact with my under thigh all the way through, and the front of the chair is actually running into the back of my knee. Now, I'm not a doctor, but from what I understand, you have like an artery back here behind your knee, and having contact all the way through will cut off more blood circulation than normal when sitting down on a chair. And as a matter of fact, in the short few minutes that I've been sitting on this, my legs are colder. As a matter of fact, a lot of people recommend that you should be able to fit 3 or 4 fingers behind your knee, and it shouldn't touch the edge of the chair. And this is also a reason why on many upper end, super duper research-based chairs, why they terminate early downwards so that it's not making contact with your thigh all the way through. This is why I said you need to have freakishly long legs in order to fit in this chair. I would say the seat pad is like a medium softness, and it's not as thick as I mentioned earlier. So if you're 150 pounds, I would probably steer you elsewhere. Good thing I have a ton of chair reviews. Make sure you guys check them out. I know this is a budget chair, but the arms are pretty bad even for a budget chair. So not only are they positioned very weird where they're positioned up forward, making it awkward to use, but then adjusting it is really difficult because this button is really hard to push. And so you almost need two hands to adjust it up and down. And that's the only adjustment you get, up or down. The seat pad on it is also, or the arm pad is also very hard. So it's not very cushiony. The lumbar in this chair is actually pretty good. As a matter of fact, my legs might have gotten a little bit tingly, but my back felt perfectly fine. It's using two plastic plates hung on these plastic arms that kind of flex a little bit. So when you sit on it, it's not gonna be like sturdy, but it'll flex with you. And having that plastic there is going to give you a little bit support in that lower back. What's cool is that this mesh and the backrest isn't like pure thin mesh. It's kind of a padded mesh, and that's gonna offset some of that plasticky feeling into your back, which is something that a lot of budget chairs don't do well. So yeah, props to the backrest and the lumbar. Speaking of the backrest, this backrest is pretty good actually. So it doesn't curve inward like on the previous SIHOO chair that I tested. So when you sit on it and you actually pull your arms back, you actually get a good amount of space to spread out that chest before your triceps run into the back. And yes, it's using a hard frame, so you're gonna feel a little bit of plastic on your triceps. But like I said, you can go far back. This is like perfectly normal and it's not gonna feel uncomfortable. It's really well designed. Talking about the headrest is actually pretty darn good. As a matter of fact, I'm really impressed at how good it was. I just wish it was a little bit longer. You see, the headrest on this chair is positioned in such a way that if you wanted to use it sitting up, you can. I don't know if you guys have watched my other reviews, but on almost every other chair review that I've done, every headrest is pulled back in such a way that in order to use it, you have to like quadruple chin all the way back. I can't, obviously. I'll show it kind of like this. You have to like pull back like this because the headrest is so far back. But on this one, if you like using your headrest while sitting up, you can actually do that and it feels really good. The downside though is that if you use the headrest in the nook of your neck like I do, this headrest actually fits really well back there, but it's not long enough and it uses a lot of plastic on the top and bottom that when I use it that way, I can feel the top plastic on my head. So I wish it were just a little bit longer, but this is also the reason why this chair is only designed, why I recommend it for people between 5'6" and 5'10". Me being 5'6", this is perfect. If you are shorter, I don't think it's gonna fit as well, but also the headrest barely moves up. That's as much range as you get. And because it's sitting so far forward, you can imagine that if you're 6'1", 6'2", and the headrest is as forward as it is, this headrest, all that plastic is gonna be digging into your back, digging into your shoulders, and that's gonna feel very uncomfortable. As a matter of fact, one person on Amazon who was 6'4" reviewed this and showed this actually digging into their shoulder blade and was like, yeah, if you're tall, don't buy this chair. Oh, I forgot to mention that if you are leaning back in the chair, the headrest position is in such a way that you can actually look forward while leaning back, which is the ideal, what I think is ideal for a headrest, so that you can lean back and read or watch something while you're leaning back. So huge props to the headrest design on this. I just wish they used either padding or just made it longer. I think this chair represents why it's so important to find a chair that fits you well, because it could cause some discomfort or even maybe some long-term effects down the road if you're not careful with that decision. Let me know if you think that this chair would be a good fit for you, and don't forget to like this video and get subscribed to help the YouTube algorithm push this video out. And until next time guys, stay safe, and as always, stay honest.